Okay, it's day 198, part one, very early in the morning here, I think around 4:30, something like that in Pittsburgh. As most of you probably know, there was a doctor murdered here from UPMC a day after I recorded my video when I got here to Pittsburgh. A guy by the name of Tony Nicasio, Cassio. Tony Nicasio. Of course, he was in internal medicine. I'd been doing stories on internal medicine and organ harvesting and so forth. I don't think the two are related at all, but I do want to talk about metadata and how that relates directly to furthering a model for the investigation and so forth that's going on in our series. And that would be, if you look at Greater Pittsburgh Medical and go up there on that hill. I was up on the hill yesterday. You're going to see a lot of, not only a dialysis center, which is DaVita dialysis centers. You're going to see that again and again and again with this pain clinic type management being very close to, or right next to, which in this case it is up there, General Pittsburgh Medicine. But then also the kidney center is right there, and then there's also going to be a diabetes center right there, and of course those are great candidates for kidney transplants and pancreas transplants. Okay, so that is part of the model going forward in terms of the pain management. The doctor in Boston that was killed, Dr. Field, the Harvard doctor, had North Shore pain management, and North Shore pain management had several complaints about customers kind of getting opioids pushed on them as well. So that's part of the model, as well as looking at consumer reports or consumer complaints for people pushing opioids in cases where they shouldn't be pushed. So the other case there with BAMP, B-A-M-P, the murderer, is he did work for a security firm, as I've said before. A lot of these folks who are pushed into the service from the intelligence community are working in the security business already. So that was one thing. And then the other thing you're going to look at for is light sentencing. Usually with robbery, he didn't actually have a gun in his first robbery in 2014. He threatened, though, and said he did. So that usually get a more serious sentence if you threaten someone, you say I have a gun, even on a note. And he got about a 9-month sentence, which is unusual for a felony offense. And Lisa Grant is the federal judge. She had only been 1 year on the bench, who gave him that sentence. I believe it's a state judge. I'm sorry, Massachusetts state judge. The second robbery, he robbed the same bank with the same MO. Again, underscoring the importance of modus operandi. Same bank, same MO, same note saying I have a gun. 2 years later, and normally you get at least 2 to 3 years for a felony like that, and he was given that 9-month sentence. So, of course, the green card was issued. They said, well, let's pull the green card and so forth, but they didn't have time to act. That was in April of this year, and then, of course, he committed the murder yesterday, or a couple of days ago. So those are just a couple of things to model, I think, the security guard position, as I mentioned before, with DHS, is a model, and then I think the DaVita kidney-type dialysis centers close to the diabetes center, which is close to the pain management clinic, which is close to the kidney center, all right in one area. And the other model that the other metadata thing that I picked up was that it was not at the UPMC downtown location, but it was in kind of one of the more remote suburban locations, which is another pattern I saw in Detroit. And that it was a place called Shadyside, up on the hill in Shadyside. So believe it or not, Shadyside. So that is another potential model. I'm not saying any of these things are hard and fast in terms of the modeling for the metadata, but it is potentially helpful to look at all the facts around the crimes to solve future crimes. And that's it for 4:30 this morning.